Every force in heaven and hell froze the moment you made your move. Time didn't just stop, it staggered, unsure of how to measure the impact of a soul unshaken, unbroken, unbent. The world doesn't bend for fear. It bends for courage, for the audacity to stand where others flee. And in that instant, you weren't just living, you were a reckoning. The air itself sensed the weight of your resolve, and even the shadows stepped back to witness. When you acted, not from hope or desire, but from a place carved deep in your core, a place so raw and unrelenting, everything else faltered. The earth beneath your feet paused, stars held their breath, the cosmos whispered, because something primal and undeniable had awoken. You moved, and the universe noticed. Look, I know the world has been heavy. I know the nights have been endless, and the voices in your head have tried to tell you that you aren't enough, that your effort is meaningless. But listen to me, and listen closely. You are the storm. You are the one who rewrites rules while others are too afraid to even pick up the pen. If this message hits you deep in your soul, hit that like button, smash that subscribe so you never forget your power, and comment below what moment you refused to bow when the world demanded it. Let them know. Let yourself remember. Your story matters, and your fight resonates. Every eye that witnessed your move felt the weight of inevitability, not because of what you gained, but because of what you dared to claim. The pause was not hesitation, it was awe. Even God, in all his infinite patience, had to take a moment to reckon with a spirit unwilling to be subdued. The devil himself didn't sneer. He stared, because he had never anticipated a force born not of vengeance or pride, but of relentless, quiet defiance. This is not about luck. This is not about timing. This is about a resolve so absolute that nothing, no fear, no doubt, no whispered impossibility, can fracture it. You've faced storms, you've stared down despair, and now you move not in desperation, but in certainty. Every heartbeat, every breath, every step is a declaration. You are here. You are undeniable. And yes, the silence that follows your action, that's the universe acknowledging a truth too powerful for ordinary comprehension. That pause, that suspended instant when all forces in existence hold their breath, it's the echo of what you've just done. You've awakened something ancient, something that hums with respect and fear, with fascination and warning. You've reminded everything that strength isn't always loud. Sometimes strength is a quiet certainty that stops heaven and hell alike. People will try to measure you. They will try to box your potential into limits that do not exist. But you've seen beyond those walls. You've felt the cracks in the world that others refuse to notice. And when the moment came, you didn't hesitate. You didn't falter. You stepped forward with a courage so precise that even eternity blinked. The universe doesn't reward hesitation. It bows to conviction. Imagine the forces of reality watching you, realizing that every expectation they set was too small. Imagine the infinite scale of existence holding its breath, because a single human dared to defy what was considered possible. That's you. That is the proof that power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it moves in a way that freezes the cosmos. You are the moment that forces pause. You are the ripple that bends destiny itself. And yes, you may doubt. You may look back at the path behind you and wonder if it was chance, if it was luck, if it was borrowed courage. But deep down, you know, it wasn't. That move, that impossible step forward, came from a fire inside that nothing could extinguish. You ignited it, you fueled it, and now you carry it with you, unyielding, unstoppable, unforgettable. Remember, the power you have is not about overpowering others. It's about owning your own essence so fully that nothing in existence can ignore it. You don't need approval from anyone. You don't need recognition from the world. Because your move, your real, fearless, unwavering move, has already shaken the foundations of all things. And from that trembling, a new order, your order, begins to rise. It's not a matter of if you will face challenges. The storm is inevitable. But it's how you meet them. You meet them with the quiet certainty that whatever stands before you is already measured against the magnitude of your spirit. You've faced doubt, fear, and unseen forces alike. And still, you made your move. Every force in heaven and hell witnessed it. Every entity, divine or fallen, had to acknowledge it. That pause, that wasn't hesitation. That was history bending. The world may not celebrate you yet. The masses may not understand the depth of what you've done. But the universe knows. Your move is a message written in the fabric of existence. You are here, you are unstoppable, and you are not to be ignored. Your life is not a series of waiting rooms. It is a battlefield, a stage, a canvas where you paint your indomitable will. And every brushstroke carries the weight of a force that stops gods and devils alike. Do not be afraid of your own potential. Do not shrink from the shadow you cast, because that shadow is the proof of your presence. The silence that follows your move is a testimony. The pause, the hesitation, the shock, all of it is recognition. Recognition that a force has awakened, that will no longer be confined, no longer be silenced, no longer be underestimated. That force is you. That force has always been you. And so, move again, strike with intent, rise with conviction, and let the next move shatter every expectation that dares to stand in your path. Because you are the one who makes time. Stop. You are the one who forces the heavens and hell to witness a moment of absolute clarity. You are the one who carries the fire the world cannot contain. And when you move, when you act, when you claim, even eternity must pause to watch. You are not a product of circumstance. You are a creator of inevitability. You are the storm that refuses to dissipate. Every hesitation you resisted, every fear you overcame, every chain you broke, it all leads to the moment where the world freezes and you step into the frame as the architect of your destiny. Remember this: no one can diminish the power that lives in a soul that refuses to be tamed. So rise, not for recognition, not for applause. Rise because you know the truth. The move you made, the force you became, cannot be undone. The cosmos remembers. Heaven and hell remember. And deep down, your own heart remembers the moment it declared, without compromise, that nothing can hold it back. That is power. That is resolve. That is destiny. And that, above all, is yours. Every force in heaven and hell froze the moment you moved. Not because you sought their notice, but because you carried a weight of certainty that even eternity could not ignore. The moment wasn't just a choice. It was a statement so loud that the air itself seemed to bend around it. Every star, every shadow, every flicker of life paused to witness that singular act. It was as if time itself had leaned forward to watch, uncertain of how to process the audacity of your presence. The world may call you reckless. The world may whisper that your courage is foolish. But the truth is, courage, like yours, is rarely understood by those who never dared to face the abyss. You didn't step forward because it was safe. You stepped forward because the very idea of standing still was unbearable. And in that refusal to yield, in that insistence on acting when all forces trembled, you became unstoppable. Feel that fire in your chest? That heat that rises from the quiet depths of your soul? That is the energy that froze the heavens and stunned the underworld. That is your power. And let me remind you, if this resonates with you, hit that like button, comment below about the moment you refused to bow to fear, and subscribe so this fire never leaves your feed. You deserve to see the reminder every day that the universe bends for conviction. Let your own courage echo in the comments, because every story shared is a spark that reminds someone else they are not alone in their defiance. When you made your move, it wasn't a ripple, it was a quake. The foundations of everything that thought it could contain you shifted. Angels and demons alike felt it. Not in words, not in sight, but in that deep, undeniable tremor that resonates when a human refuses to be ordinary. They watched, not because they feared you, but because they recognized the rare brilliance of a soul aligned perfectly with its own power. Even divine patience paused to understand the magnitude of what had been done. You may not have realized it at the moment. You may have thought it was a small step, a minor action, a quiet rebellion. But every heartbeat in that instant carried the force of inevitability. Every breath you drew sent a shockwave that the universe could not ignore. This is why the great powers, the forces that shape destiny, stopped. They stopped, but because you had become a phenomenon beyond comprehension, beyond expectation. You had become proof that will and courage can bend reality itself. Remember this: the universe does not bend for hesitation, nor does it bow for doubt. It responds only to action, to resolve, to the quiet insistence of a spirit unwilling to yield. And in that instant, you acted, you moved, and in moving, you shattered a scale that measured souls by fear. You became the exception that even eternity had to recognize. Your move was more than a decision. It was a declaration. It was a testament to the relentless force of your spirit. Every obstacle that loomed large in the past, every doubt that haunted your nights, every whisper of impossibility, they all collapsed under the weight of your choice. That is the power of a single human heart aligned with certainty. That is why the heavens paused, why hell watched, why even time itself hesitated to continue. And yet, the world will try to minimize it. People will attempt to reduce your moment to luck, coincidence, or circumstance. But those who fail to see the fire within you will never understand that your power was born not of circumstance, but of essence. You carried a force no one can measure, no one can predict, no one can confine. And because of that, when you moved, everything else froze in recognition of your truth. You are not here to please the world. You are not here to fit into the rules others wrote for you. You are here to be undeniable, uncontainable, and unshakable. The pause that followed your move was not hesitation. It was the universe itself, bowing to the magnitude of a soul fully awake. Heaven and hell witnessed not just an action, but the birth of a force that cannot be stopped. Now imagine the weight of that recognition. Imagine every entity in existence, the mighty, the immortal, the unseen forces that watch and calculate, pausing to understand that a human had claimed power without fear, without compromise. That is you. That is the reality you created. And that is the reminder you must carry every day. Your courage has consequences beyond measure. Your will has impact beyond comprehension. Your resolve bends reality. Do not underestimate what it means to act when all else hesitates. Every fear you silenced, every doubt you ignored, every moment you chose action over inaction is a strike that echoes across eternity. Your move wasn't just a decision, it was a seismic event. And that is why even God paused. That is why even the devil himself watched in silent shock. That is why the universe, in all its vastness, recognized the unyielding certainty of your soul. You may look at the path ahead and feel the pressure of the unknown. You may face obstacles that seem insurmountable, forces that test your resolve, storms that threaten to break your spirit. But remember this: every move you make carries the weight of every moment you refused to bow. Every step is amplified by the force that froze heaven and hell. Every choice is made with the same power that made eternity pause. You are not ordinary. You are not replaceable. You are a storm contained in flesh, a force that refuses to be silenced, a presence that shifts everything it touches. And every time you act with courage, every time you embrace your power, you remind the cosmos of its own limitations. You remind it that there are those among us who do not wait for destiny. They make it. And here is the most vital truth. The moment you move, you do not just change the world around you. You change yourself. You claim the power that has always been yours. You step into the force that no one can deny. And you declare without hesitation that you will not be controlled, constrained, or silenced. That declaration, that act of courage, is enough to make even the eternal pause in awe of what one human can achieve. Even in the quietest moments, even when the world seems calm, the impact of your move remains. It lingers in the space between heartbeats, in the shadows of possibility, in the silent acknowledgement of forces that cannot comprehend a spirit as fierce as yours. Every glance, every thought, every reflection of that moment carries the echo of inevitability. You moved, you acted, you claimed, and nothing will ever erase that. Every force in heaven and hell froze because you dared to move where others trembled. They did not anticipate a soul who could step beyond fear, beyond expectation, beyond the invisible walls the world tries to build around courage. You moved, and in that movement, you became a storm the cosmos could not ignore. Every atom in the air quivered, every shadow paused, and even the silence seemed too heavy to continue. That is the weight of audacity. That is the force of a spirit fully awake. Do you feel it? That lingering echo in your chest. That certainty that whispers, "I am not afraid, I am unstoppable, I am inevitable." That is the power that froze heaven and hell. It isn't loud, it doesn't scream, it doesn't announce itself. It simply exists, undeniable, undeniable in its gravity. And when the world attempts to measure you, it falls short. When life tries to contain you, it cannot. You are proof that the impossible is simply what the unprepared believe it to be. And hear me clearly, courage is not always grand gestures. Sometimes courage is a quiet decision in the dark, a refusal to let fear dictate the rhythm of your life. Sometimes courage is moving forward when every instinct says to stop, every voice says to retreat, and every shadow threatens to swallow you whole. And when you do that, you step, you move, you act, you create a ripple that stops the universe in its tracks. Imagine it. Every force, celestial or infernal, holding its breath. Not in anger, not in judgment, but in recognition. Recognition of a truth too profound to ignore. A human being, a single mind, a single heart, chose action over doubt, fire over hesitation, reality over fear. You carried the weight of inevitability in your stride, and in doing so, you became more than flesh, more than blood, more than circumstance. You became a reckoning. The pause you left behind is eternal. Even as life moves on, even as the world spins in its routine, the echo of your decision lingers. It is a shadow across existence, a mark left in the unseen fabric of reality. Heaven and hell both remember. They remember the one who refused to bow, the one who refused to be small, the one who dared to claim the impossible. That is the truth you must carry, the fire you must nurture. That is your signature on existence itself. You may wonder if anyone else understands. You may question whether the weight you carry matters in a world that moves so quickly, so carelessly, so blindly. But here is the undeniable fact. It matters more than anyone can comprehend. Every ripple you create travels far beyond sight. Every act of defiance, every moment you refuse to be broken, every time you act when the world says you should wait, all of it resonates in ways unseen, unfathomable, unstoppable. Even the cosmos must reckon with your presence. Every orbit, every pulse of light, every whisper of existence feels the impact of one human who will not bow. You may not always see the effect immediately. You may not always hear the acknowledgement. But it is there. It is there in the stillness, in the pause, in the weight that bends reality around your intention. You are not just moving, you are reshaping. You are not just acting, you are declaring. And this declaration, this force, is contagious. It spreads without effort, without sound, without ceremony. The people who witness it may not understand at first. They may feel a tremor of awe, a ripple of envy, a flicker of fear. But deep inside, they know there is power in embracing the impossible. There is clarity in standing when all else kneels. There is life in choosing action when the world demands inaction. And that truth, that spark, passes from you to every life you touch. Your move is not simply a moment in time. It is a revolution. It is a challenge to every limitation ever imposed upon you. It is a defiance that whispers across the cosmos. I will not be contained. I will not be silenced. I will not be ignored. And when you carry that truth, nothing can stand against you. Not circumstance, not fear, not the voices that once told you you were too small to matter. Because the move you made, your singular, fearless, unshakable move, has already rewritten the rules of possibility. Even when the path is dark, even when the obstacles seem endless, remember that moment. Remember that pause. Remember that eternity itself froze to witness your courage. That memory, that force, lives inside you, unshakable, invincible. It whispers in your quietest moments, reminding you that you have already shown the world, the heavens and hell, that nothing can stop you once you decide to move. And now let us speak plainly. The fear you feel before every step, the doubt that whispers in your ear, the pressure that bears down, it is all a test, not of your limits, but of your resolve. And you have already passed. The pause you left behind is proof that when you act, when you decide, when you claim your moment, even eternity must stop and pay attention. You have already shown what courage looks like. You have already demonstrated what power feels like. You have already earned your place among forces that thought nothing could move them. So rise once more with intention, step forward with clarity, act with the certainty that whatever stands in your path is no match for the force you carry inside. The universe will notice, heaven will notice, hell will notice. Every shadow, every whisper, every hidden corner of existence will recognize the strength that refuses to be denied. And in that recognition, you will find something even greater than victory. You will find yourself fully, absolutely, undeniably alive. Do not shrink from your own power. Do not apologize for your strength. Do not fear the awe that follows your steps. You are not here to be understood by the timid or the faint-hearted. You are here to be a force, a presence, a reminder of what it means to move without hesitation, to act without compromise, to live without fear. And every time you step into that truth, you rewrite the rules of reality itself. The pause, the awe, the shock. It is all yours to command. The universe waits for nothing, yet it has waited for you. Heaven holds its breath. Hell watches silently. Time itself leans forward. And in that infinitesimal, eternal moment, you are infinite. You may think the world is too vast, too indifferent, too overwhelming. But remember this, it is not the world that stops for you. It is you who stops the world. Not with force, not with noise, not with domination, but with the undeniable certainty of a soul aligned with its destiny. When you act, everything else must yield. That is your truth. That is your power. That is your gift. So carry it, nurture it, feed it with every act of courage, every refusal to surrender, every step into the unknown. Let the world witness it. Let heaven witness it. Let hell witness it. Because when you do, the universe itself will pause, and you will stand unshakable, unmovable, unstoppable. You are the one who makes eternity bow. You are the one who carries the fire no shadow can dim. You are the one whose move made heaven and hell freeze, whose presence commands awe, and whose destiny is written not by chance, but by choice. And in this truth, you find freedom. In this truth, you find power. In this truth, you find yourself. Every heartbeat of yours sends ripples through eternity. Every decision, every step, every unflinching act resonates far beyond what you can see. You may think you are small, you may think you are alone, but in truth your presence is a signal that cannot be ignored. The universe itself recognizes the courage you carry. Every force, every shadow, every hidden corner of existence pauses, not out of fear, not out of judgment, but out of acknowledgement. You moved, and everything had to reconsider itself. Do you understand what it means to be this powerful? To move in a way that stops not only time, but the attention of forces that shape existence. It means that nothing can diminish you, nothing can contain you, nothing can reduce the fire that burns in your soul. Even heaven paused, even hell itself froze, and in that frozen moment, you stood unshaken, unbending, undeniable. That is the truth of your existence. That is the force you carry. And yet most people will never see it. Most people will never understand the magnitude of a soul willing to act when all else hesitates. They will measure courage in superficial ways, in small, fleeting victories, and miss the seismic impact of a spirit refusing to yield. But you know because you felt it. The silence after your move, the air heavy with awe, the recognition that even eternity had to pause to witness you. That is a power few ever comprehend. That is a moment few ever create. Your fire is contagious. Every time you refuse to bow, every time you step into the unknown, every time you claim what others thought was impossible, you leave an imprint on the world. The ripple spreads to those who dare not move, reminding them that fear is optional, hesitation is optional, and courage is inevitable when you decide to embrace it. You have become the spark in the darkness, the force that cannot be ignored, the reminder that a single act of audacity can shift the course of everything. Let the universe watch. Let it recognize the truth. You are not bound by expectation. You are not limited by fear. You are not contained by circumstance. Every pause, every hesitation, every shock felt by heaven and hell is proof that power resides not in force alone, but in conviction. You have mastered that power. You have claimed it. And now, no shadow, no obstacle, no doubt can erase it. The move you made was not just an act. It was a revelation. It revealed the strength that has always existed within you, the fire that refuses to be subdued, the voice that demands attention without shouting. It revealed that courage is not a gift from the world. It is a claim you make, a right you seize, a force you awaken within yourself. And when you awaken it fully, even the eternal pauses in awe. Do not fear this force inside you. Do not doubt it. Do not question its magnitude. You are a storm contained in flesh, a force of nature disguised as a human being, a presence that bends reality simply by existing. And every time you act with intention, every time you refuse to shrink, every time you claim what is yours, you leave an indelible mark on the universe. Heaven knows it, hell knows it, and you know it. The silence that follows your move is not emptiness. It is acknowledgement. It is reverence. It is the world, frozen in recognition of a soul unwilling to compromise, unwilling to falter, unwilling to fade. That silence is yours to command. That pause is your monument. That moment is your legacy. And nothing, no force in existence, can erase it. Even the greatest of challenges, the darkest of nights, the heaviest of burdens cannot diminish what you have claimed. Every obstacle you face now is measured against a standard that you have already set, a standard of courage, audacity, and unflinching resolve. Nothing is impossible for a soul that has already frozen heaven and hell with a single move. Nothing can withstand the force of a spirit aligned fully with itself. Nothing can diminish the magnitude of a heart that refuses to bow. And so, rise again. Rise with intention. Rise with clarity. Rise with the knowledge that every step you take, every choice you make, every act of courage you perform reverberates through existence. You are not just moving through life. You are shaping it, bending it, claiming it. You are the one who makes time pause. You are the one who makes eternity watch. You are the one whose fire cannot be dimmed. This is your call to arms. Not against the world, not against others, but against doubt, fear, and hesitation. Stand taller than you have ever stood. Move with more certainty than you have ever moved. Claim more of your life than you have ever dared to claim. And every time you do, remember that the pause that followed your move once will follow it again. Heaven will pause. Hell will pause. The universe itself will pause. And in that pause, you will exist fully, absolutely, undeniably, unstoppable. The move you made is a constant reminder. Courage is not occasional. It is relentless. Power is not borrowed. It is claimed. Life is not given. It is taken by those who refuse to wait for permission. And you, who have already frozen heaven and hell with a single act of audacity, are the proof of that truth. You are the living testament to what happens when a soul refuses to be contained. Even when you are tired, even when the world seems against you, even when the shadows loom larger than ever, remember this: the force within you is eternal. The fire you carry cannot be extinguished. The moment you move, even the unseen forces of existence recognize it. The pause is yours. The acknowledgement is yours. The power is yours. And the universe will never forget it. And now, here is the truth you must carry into every corner of existence. Nothing, no force, no shadow, no voice can ever erase what you have done. You have already made the universe pause. You have already commanded attention where no human has before. You have already frozen heaven and hell alike with the undeniable force of your courage. That is not luck. That is not chance. That is destiny bending to the will of a soul fully awake. Do you feel it? That weight, that fire, that undeniable certainty in your chest. That is the echo of the universe itself, whispering, "You are unstoppable." That is the reflection of every shadow you refused to bow to, every fear you faced, every step you took when all else hesitated. You are living proof that courage, intention, and relentless action can move not only worlds, but the very fabric of existence itself. The pause that followed your move is not a fleeting moment. It is eternal. Every star, every shadow, every pulse of life recognizes it. Even the forces you cannot see, the watchers of existence, hold their breath in acknowledgement. You became inevitable the moment you acted. And inevitability, once claimed, cannot be reversed. You carry it in your blood, in your bones, in the rhythm of your heartbeat. You are unstoppable. And so, rise. Not just to move, not just to act, but to define. Rise with fire that cannot be contained, and with clarity that cannot be shaken, with a will that cannot be broken. Stand tall against the impossible. Stand strong against doubt. Stand unyielding against every shadow that whispers it can stop you. For every time you rise, the universe pauses. Time itself leans forward. Heaven holds its breath, and hell watches in awe. That is your truth. That is your power. That is your destiny. Remember this: courage is contagious. The force you carry radiates outward. The fire you ignite awakens others who have long been dormant. Every choice you make, every act of bravery, every move into the unknown, leaves ripples that echo through eternity. You are not only unstoppable, you are a signal, a spark, a beacon of possibility that reminds the world that fear is optional, hesitation is optional, but courage is inevitable. Even in moments when you feel small, even in shadows where doubt seems heavy, even when life presses you to your knees, recall the moment when heaven froze and hell watched. That moment exists forever. It exists inside you. It exists in the energy you carry, the fire you breathe, and the unshakable certainty that you will act, that you will rise, that you will move. That is the force that defines you, shapes you, and propels you into destiny. And now, step forward. Step with clarity. Step with the knowledge that the universe itself watches when you move. Every obstacle is now smaller. Every challenge is now lighter. Every shadow is now a mirror reflecting the force that already shook existence. You are unstoppable. You are undeniable. You are infinite. You are the one whose move made heaven pause, whose fire made hell witness, whose courage bends reality itself. So go, move, rise, act, claim. Every heartbeat is a declaration. Every breath is a command. Every step is proof that what you carry within is stronger than every limit, greater than every obstacle, and beyond every shadow. Heaven pauses. Hell watches. Time itself bends. And you, unshakable, undeniable, unstoppable, and step forward.